Okay, we are going to chat about a prospect list. I still don't really love that phrase. So I like to call it a future members list instead of a prospect list because I don't think of people as the connotation that I think of when I hear prospect. I'm like, oh, got to get them enrolled. That's not my heart. I know that's not your heart. So if I use that word, I want you to know in where I am on all of that. But I want to train you and help inspire you to have an active, warm, alive, growing future members list. And it's a small thing, but I've got 12 tips about how to grow that. But first, what is it? Okay, when I'm talking about this, it is a running list of people who have either expressed interest in a product or service that Young Living offers, or it's someone that you want them to join because of a need they have that you know Young Living can meet. So people who have expressed interest or people that you know they need these products. So that is what it is. I'll show you mine here in a minute. So that's the what. Here's the why. Why do you need an active future members list? 3 reasons. 1, it gives direction during your work time. If you sit down and like we heard last night on our summer launch call, and you're having your work time and they say follow up, you're like, who do I follow up with today? Well, if you've got an active future members list, you know exactly who to follow up with, whoever you just haven't talked to in a while that's on that list. Another reason, another why, is that it's a ready to go list when there's a sale or a promotion. I don't have to spend time when Young Living says, hey, everything on the Young Living site is 10% off. I don't have to sit and rack my brain. Who has reached out to me? Who wanted what? And kind of get into the gear. I can open up my list and immediately start contacting people. Hey, I know you were interested in the turmeric. Hey, I know you were interested in the Beauty Boost. Hey, I know you got my Thieves Cleaner one time. It's now 10% off along with everything on the site. It's right there ready to go when Young Living says special go time. It also allows, and I said this before, this is the last why, it allows for easy follow-up, especially if it's all in one place. So that's the what and the why. And now here are the 12 ways to do a how. How are you going to do this list? Preliminary is you need to find a simple system that works for you. I have tried so many things over the years. I tried an index card box with the day of the month on each of the tabs and people on index cards, and you move them through, and that really works for someone in our upline. Lasted about a day for me. I have tried in my phone, and that really works for some people. Doesn't really work for me. I have tried spreadsheets. Oh, goodness gracious. I do not keep up with a spreadsheet. I don't think about that. So what works for me is I have my daily planner right here. This goes with me everywhere. I do everything with it. And in the very back, I just happen to have a couple note pages where I write names. That's what I do. As a name comes to mind, as someone mentions something, I write their name. And in parentheses, I might write what product or what caused me to put them on the list. What's a need they have? What's a product that they want? And I just keep the list going for the full year. You'll notice the highlights are people that have joined. So yay, lots of people on the list got highlighted, which is really fun. So because this is with me all the time and I really like paper and pen, it works for me. You might need a separate notebook. I don't know what you need, but find something that is simple. Don't make it complicated, not 5 million tabs with all kinds of info to fill out. You need it to be accessible to you so that when you think of a name, it can go in there quickly. And it needs to be just minimal notes and something you can keep updated. And you're going to add to it whenever there's motion. And I'm going to tell you the 12 things about how to get motion on your list. When there's motion with someone, someone's reaching out to you or you're reaching out to them, that's when they get added to the list. Okay, number 1 on how. to keep your list active, alive, growing, and warm. Number one is we've got to change our mindset about having a small circle. A lot of times when I am coaching leaders on our team and I say, who do you know? Who's on your list? I don't really know a lot of people. That's the answer. Again, I don't know a lot of people, don't have a lot of people on my list. This is a very common thing. Everybody has said it. And that's not good. That's not healthy. If we're in a relationship or network marketing business, we need to have an active list all the time. So we got to change our mindset about a small circle. We heard last night on our call with corporate, the sentence, and I liked the idea of where this was going. It says the universe, fill in the blank with, obviously, if you're not all about the universe, I get that. We can say God, we can say divine appointments, but they said the universe is always putting prospects in front of us. Always. Be aware. Be aware. Be on the lookout. Do we intentionally look for people? Along with changing our mindset, this is all still on number one, is I like to pray that God would bring hungry, ready people across my path. And that when he does, I notice. And he's in charge of this business for me. I know he is for you all as well. I want him to direct it. I'm asking for his favor. And so when I get out of my own strength and striving and I pray and I ask for him to do what he wants to do anyway, it allows him to work and allows me to give him glory when he does work. So pray for hungry people. And also as part of your mindset about a small circle, define who you are looking for. Will you take anybody and everybody? Is there a certain person that you really want to attract to your business? Who are you looking for? Who are you praying for? Here's the thing. If you've defined who that person is, when God brings them across your path, you're more likely to notice. Notice that you notice, oh my goodness, this is the exact type person that I prayed for and God brought them along. Okay, so number one is change your mindset about a small circle. If you have found yourself using that as an excuse, I just don't know very many people, I just don't have a great big circle, start changing your mindset about that because we got to expand it in order to grow. Number two, this is another way to add to your list. It's a how, is social media. Take it at whatever level you want. I'm not saying go be an Instagram influencer if you don't want to be, but as people respond to your posts, your stories, your polls, your comments, take note of that. When I do a Young Living themed post and people comment on that, I look to see who it is. I look to see if they're currently already on my team. If they're on someone else's team, I check them out a little bit. And if I feel like they would be a good fit, they're not yet a customer, then I add them to my list. I often will do in Instagram and Facebook stories, you can do polls. And so if I do a poll that's Young Living related, I'll go and see who responded. And maybe someone responded that they would like to learn more about the boho Botox, or they are curious about a link for our thyroid call, whatever. It's not very many people, but write them down when they do respond. And as you're active on social media, as you're being consistent there, you will grow there. I personally have not enrolled a lot of strangers from social media. I don't use it necessarily to get cold market friends or cold market prospects, but I have enrolled a lot of friends just because of showing up consistently there and then following up as they show interest. Number three, on the how to add to your list, wear Young Living gear in public and use your oils and products in public. I have enrolled people from wearing a shirt that just says Young Living. Told you I enrolled the lady who fitted me for a bra because when I was checking out and she saw my shirt, it said Young Living. And I've been wondering about them, and she enrolled. Enrolled people at the post office when I was shipping oil samples to other people. Lots of people that I have met in public. So as you're wearing your gear, it's going to create curiosity. If someone responds, get their contact information, they go on the list. Number 4, as a how-to, occasionally do challenges or bulk buys. And I'll explain this. Like I did a couple months ago, a Thieves Household Cleaner bulk buy. Who's not a member and who wants to grab a bottle of Thieves Household Cleaner for $28 and I'll deliver it to you. I was trying to increase OGV to maintain a rank that month, which is why I did that. Ningxia Red challenge. Who wants to try Ningxia Red for 30 days and be a part of it? Boho Botox is a great one. Who's curious about Boho Botox? So as you do these challenges, like when I did the Thieves Cleaner bulk buy, I had about 20 people that bought a single bottle of Thieves Household Cleaner from me. And they weren't current members. I didn't send them a link to join. They just bought it, paid for it from me. I delivered it to them. They all went on my list because I know that they like natural products and they've now tested one. So I can follow up with them and help them get enrolled. So those types of things, those challenges or those bulk buys will help generate your list. Number 5. Invite people to calls like our team Zoom calls or the Monday night calls that Baby Steps has. When we do like the calls with Erica, the thyroid, the diabetes, the COVID, and I put that out there, people, I get so many people who say, I want to be a part of that. I want to attend that. Well, if they aren't a current Young Living customer and they attend based on my invitation, they go on my list. In fact, I just enrolled last week a lady who came to the thyroid class back in June. And we've been talking for a while. And finally, at the end of July, she was ready. So as you put an invitation out there, as you invite someone to come to one of these calls, if they express an interest, if they want a recorded link, if they want whatever, they're a warm prospect. They go on your list. Number 6. We kind of talked about this before, but I guess it deserves its own category, is write down who you want. Write down who you want. Who are you looking for? What type of person? Is it a mom? Is it retired? Is it a whatever? Write down who you're looking for. Do they work? Do they have aches and pains? What are their needs? Etc. Number 7. This is so simple, but we overlook it. Think about the people in your circle. Who's already in your circle? And then write down people that need something Young Living has that are in your circle. I have often gone through my phone contact list. Maybe like once a year, I'll go through my phone contact list and see if there are some that I need to write down. I will go through my Facebook friends list. Every once in a while, I will go through whoever's watching all my stories. If they're seeing me and my life every single day, goodness gracious, I have dripped a lot of Young Living on them over the past few months. And if they're still watching, they're a very warm future member. They go on my list. So who is already in your circle? Sit down and think about it and write them down. And attach, it's really helpful to attach a Young Living product to a need that they have. We've heard about that before. Okay, number 8, be known in your circle as the Young Living gal. It is okay to be known as the Young Living wellness oily guru expert, because when people have a need, they think of you and you get to then serve them and you get referrals, and referrals are so fun. When someone says, hey, my friend has a need, I'm trusting you with my friend because I know you'll take good care of them. And you get to do that. It's so fun. So be top of mind for people when they think Young Living, wellness, essential oils. Do they think of you? Okay, number 9. Look at your personally enrolled inactives. who has gone inactive that you have personally enrolled. And you can do that by going into your virtual office and change the month. Like I do it I'll go for, like, if we're in August, I'll go look at August of 2020 and my personally enrolled and see who's there. And then August 2019. So you don't have to go month by month, but look at your personally enrolled inactives, or if you have another way of recording those, they've already said yes to you once. And it's an opportunity. When the opportunity arrives, when that nudge is on your shoulder, when the Lord prompts you, you reach out to them. Number 10, about how to grow your list. This goes along with being known as the Young Living gal. Show up and bring up Young Living consistently in multiple scenarios. We shy away sometimes from mentioning authentic solutions with a servant's heart. We're afraid because I do make money if they make a purchase. I don't want them to think bad of me. But if we know it's going to help them, why do we shy away? Why do we shy away? So I mention Young Living in a lot of conversations. I don't mention it right away. I'm not obnoxious. Like, hi, I'm Shannon. Are you in Young Living? I mean, that's not what I'm talking about. I'll give you an example. There's a girl, another mom who goes to our church, and we have become like walking accountability partners. And we don't walk together very often, but we Marco Polo each other when we're walking, say, hey, I'm walking, and we share some about our life. And we've done life together for about a year. And I just occasionally will mention Young Living stuff as part of my life, right? But I didn't feel the nudge to push and to bring it up in a way that like was asking her for something, until she told me she had just been to the doctor and she needed to be on vitamin B and vitamin D. And so she was going around, she was looking, blah, blah, blah. So I just said, hey, you know that Young Living has that, right? That's a really good product. I can get you information if you want. She said, well, sure, I would love to know the info. Here's my specific questions that I have. So I brought it up. I didn't just let it go, and added her to my list for Super B and vitamin D. And if, we don't have another conversation about it for a month, that's fine. When I sit down to do follow-up one day, I'll text her, hey, are you still interested in that Super B and vitamin D? You can get it now without having to get a kit. That kind of thing. So bring up Young Living consistently in many scenarios and see how people respond. If they're interested, if they're curious, if they had more questions, if they mention a product that they might want, they go on the list so you don't forget to follow up with them. Number 11 is build trust and relationships. This is a relationship marketing business. And when people say yes to enrolling with you, it's because they trust you. And if you're not getting people to respond to you very well, they might not have a level of trust yet with you. It might just be something where they need more time to get to know you. They need to know this isn't going to just be something that you show up for a few months and then you're doing something else. They want to know that you have integrity. So trust and relationship goes a long way to getting people to say yes to even talking to you about Young Living and being put on your list. So building relationships is huge. Okay, the last thing is intentionally expand your network. And this gets some of us homebodies out of our comfort zone. I understand, I'm there, but maybe there's a Facebook group you can join. I'm in a pastor's wives Facebook group, and I haven't said a single thing about Young Living the whole year I've been in there, but I'm building relationships. I'm building trust. I'm building credibility in who I am and how I show up to serve. And there might be an opportunity there someday. I don't know. My son just joined a homeschool cross country team, and they meet 4 nights a week for practice, and the mamas walk together. And you better believe I have thought, I wonder if any of them are in Young Living. I wonder if any of them are interested. I wonder if any of them have needs that I could help meet. And so I'm expanding my network. I'll meet these moms. I will find them on Facebook or on Instagram. We'll start building trust with each other. I did this when we moved into a new neighborhood. I didn't want to get to know everybody here, but as they were walking outside, I introduced myself. Then I found them on social media and we get to follow each other for a while, see what life is like. I can see what their needs are. They can learn to trust me. I'm not some scammy, weird person. See how it all kind of starts to fit together. And then I write their names on the list based on what I now know their needs are because I've listened and I've spent time with them. So intentionally expand your network in whatever way that needs to be. Maybe you're joining a Sunday school class or a small group or a gardening club or a Facebook group, or I don't know. I don't know what it is, but as you're expanding your network, that's an amazing way to be introduced to future members. Okay, those are the 12 things. After you've got your list going, obviously, then you've got to cultivate your list. You've got to follow up with your list. And those are all trainings for a different day. But hopefully you got a couple of nuggets about how to keep an active list going. And that way you can have that resource available at a moment's notice, really. Okay, so questions, comments, thoughts? What's a tip that you're going to now implement? Please state number 10. Number 10 is show up and bring up Young Living consistently in multiple scenarios. Sorry, I just saw that comment. Okay, so let me know what is one of the tips that was helpful or intriguing or new for you, or what's a question you have? Lynette? Yep.
This is just an area that I need help on. You know, once I have people in my circle, I'm fine and love to help. It's just breaking those barriers and adding to that list. So this is good reminders and very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'd love for you to see this as anything else in your life. As you are building friendships, you're getting to know new people, you're going to meet their needs. If they mention that they have a son that's gluten-free and you're going to say, hey, I've got a friend who's got kids that are gluten-free. Do you need me to connect you with them? Or they're looking for someone that has bouncy houses for their birthday party. I know someone that has bouncy houses. I mean, we just connect people as we build relationships. We hear about needs. We meet the needs that we can. I'll pray for you. I'll lift you up. I'll send you a card. So let this be just something normal and natural as you are prompted. And there are many times I meet someone, they have a blatant need that I know Young Living could meet, and it doesn't even cross my mind about Young Living until later. And I have to trust that God didn't want me to bring it up in that moment. I was to be present in another way. And that was not the purpose of that encounter. And that's totally cool. I want to be in the center of his will in all of it. But there are times when the thought comes, oh my goodness, I've got something that could help them. Just say it. So anyway, good deal. Okay, what other tips have been helpful? Or are you going to implement, Lisa?
I really struggle. I want to do stuff on social media so bad, but I feel like I'm always for me, it takes too much time to try to sit down, which I did make a post tonight. I did it as we started this about the boho Botox. But I mean, I feel like life is just so busy and it takes me a while to do the social media thing. And I know that, you know, a lot that if you're consistent on social media, it's very helpful. And it's just really hard for me to come up with the posts and being able to be consistent. And so then sometimes I don't do anything for a long time. And so I'm hoping that I can get to a point where I can do that, because I know that social media is powerful, and I'd really like to do that. But social media is one of the things where I really struggle, and one of the things that I really need to do better with.
I completely hear you. And I have a love-hate relationship with it as well, as you know. And there are seasons. So a couple of thoughts that I have. One is we do have those social media prompts, daily prompts that are kind of fun. in the Life Steps app. And that might be something fun to do for a month or a week or whatever, and see how you do with that. Also, remember that our Royal Crown Diamonds that we love so much, the Max and Karen Hopkins and Deborah Rayburn and Sarah Johnson, they didn't build with social media. You don't have to build on social media. Now, if you can, it's a great opportunity, because that is where a lot of people connect, and it maybe is easier to reach more people. You're gonna have to work harder if you're doing one-on-one and a lot of classes in person, etc. But you can reach Royal Crown Diamond without being a big time social media person. So Ashley and I were talking a few weeks ago about a training in Instagram Reels. And everyone's saying that's Instagram Reels is where it's at. You roll 30 people in a month with Instagram Reels. And so I thought, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I am not in the place where I can learn that right now. And that's a learning curve that just doesn't interest me in this particular moment. And it caused stress and anxiety. Well, that's not the vibe I want to be giving off on social media. So I relieved myself of that pressure. Said, you know what? I don't have to have Reels to be successful. Reels weren't around 7 years ago when I grew to silver in 13 months. So hogwash, you don't have to do any of that. All you have to do is talk to people and love people and educate people. And if God's called you to do that in one-on-one classes or meeting people, random strangers, and that's what you're gifted at, or having people in your home or whatever, do that. The other stuff, there's skills that we can learn and we can develop, but don't put pressure on yourself if it causes anxiety and stress. Just do something else. Is that helpful? Okay. Anybody else have a tip that resonated with you? Suzanne. You have to unmute yourself. Yep, there you go.
Well, I pulled out my calendar from last year and thinking about my invites and just going through every month and who I talked to and where they didn't do anything. Follow up, make that my list.
Yep. That's so good. That's actually something you can do if for years you've done Facebook events. You could go back to past events for the past several years and see who came, or who maybe, you know, how it used to say interested or maybe. And those are names that you could then add to one centralized list if you wanted to. People that have responded yes in the past. Absolutely. Great idea. Anybody else? Any questions? Yes, Susan says it's a good reminder to keep a list of those who you mentioned Young Living to, or someone who shows interest or you offer info to. I sometimes forget to do that. I did too for several years, Susan, and then I didn't know who to follow up with. And then I would have different sticky notes in different places, and so it needs to be a centralized place. Lynette, were you going to say something else?
With just again, the reminder of wearing your gear. I don't have a specific shirt that says Young Living. I think I need to get one. I have carried my oil bags and things before. It's been a long time. And sometimes I would get some feedback from that, but that would probably be really helpful for me, because sometimes I don't get out of the house between Monday and Friday.
Right.
And it would just help to maybe spark something.
Yep. It's just maybe a subliminal reminder as people see you and come into your home. She's still doing Young Living. She's still the person I need to go to if I have a question. You just stay top of mind with people when they see that on you. Yep. Jenny.
And I think
I'm thinking that I need to get some gear for all the Zoom calls that I'm in on, because I'm in all my college classes. So
Yep.
I might need to wear Young Living gear there.
There you go. That would work. And you know, if you have people that come into your home for different things, I have intentionally placed diffusers and oils in the main areas of my home so that they'll ask about it. And people do ask about it. It's a great conversation starter. If they show more interest, they get added to the list to follow up.
My grandkids ask them what oil they want in the diffusers when I have people over. They'll go get the oils for them.
They're the best. They have no fear.
Nope.
Suzanne.
Today, when I was up at the office, I have gotten rid of my cane. I only use it whenever I walk Stewie, because today we've got up to 1.5 miles today in 2 different times. So I went back to see the staff that's there, and she's like, "Oh, you look so good." And I said, "It's my oils and my oily products that are doing it, and God's good," and just left it at that. So you just take every opportunity you can to give him the glory and recognize he gave us what we have to use.
Yes, absolutely. I love that we're all on the same page with that here. That really is helpful and an encouragement to me. And it, as I have said before, when I get to heaven, I'm not going to say, I wish I had sold another bottle of oil to all these people on my prospect list. But a lot of these people on my prospect list, I would never have encountered or had thought about following up and building a relationship with them were it not for Young Living. And so now I have a larger network, a larger circle of friends that I can tell about Young Living. And through that, it's a ministry, and we openly share our faith and can help people come to the Lord. So that is what I am grateful that God's given me, the platform of Young Living, to then meet more people, talk with more people, expand my network, so that hopefully I always steward that well and point to him. Yep. Good deal. Okay. We good? This helpful? Awesome. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for your time, and we will see you soon. Good night.